Assalamualaikum and good morning to Sir Muhammad Alifuddin bin Ashari. My name is Mazlina binti Maludin. Metric number MC26054145. Today I will present for subject Pedagogy in Education EDU61043. So now I will explain theory learning approach for cognitive theory, behaviorist theory, and humanistic theory. So, what is learning theory? Learning theory explains how students acquire knowledge and develop skill and change their behavior. They help teachers choose appropriate teaching strategy to improve student learning experience and outcome. There are three theory learning approach that I will explain. So the first one is cognitive. Cognitive more focus on internal mental processing and memory. For behaviorism is learning through environment, condition, and reward. And the last one is humanistic theory that explain that learning is student-centered and emphasize the holistic development of individual, including their emotional, social, intellectual, and personal potential. Explain is cognitive theory. Cognitive theory, psychological framework that explain human behavior by focusing on how the mind process, store, and retrieve information. It suggests that our internal thought, perception, and belief dictate how we feel and act rather than just our external environment or condition response. There is three major theory. The first one is Jean Piaget. Piaget is on opinion that there is four stage of cognitive development. The first one is sensory motor, from 0 until 2 years old, pre-operational from 2 until 7 years old, concrete operational from 7 until 11 years old, and formal operational 12 years old and above. Jean Piaget believed that learning change according to age and maturity children. The second one is Jeremy Brenner. Jeremy Brenner believed that children learn best by exploring, investigation, and discovering new concepts on their own. Then teacher as a facilitator rather than a lecturer. So students learn best by exploring and solving problems. So the third one is Lev Vygotsky. Lev Vygotsky believed that learning occurs through social interaction and is influenced by culture, language, and collaboration with others. Different with Piaget, who emphasized individual discovery, but Vygotsky argued that children learn best when guided by teachers, parents, or more knowledgeable peers. There's principle of cognitive theory. The first one is Jean Piaget. First is schema. Schema is a mental framework or structure that helps children organize and interpret information. For assimilation, incorporating new information into existing schema. Accommodation is modifying existing schema when new information does not fit. And the last one is equilibration, that the process of balancing assimilation and accommodation to achieve understanding. For key principle, Jeremy Brenner is discovery learning. Student learn best by exploring, investigating, and discovering new concepts on their own. Scaffolding, teachers provide temporary support to help children complete tasks they cannot do independently. Spiral curriculum is more spiral curriculum is most important concept should be revised repeatedly throughout the curriculum. Readiness for learning, that Brenner believed that any subject can be taught to any child if it is present in a way that matches the child level of understanding. For key principle, Lev-Vygotsky is social interaction, that learning takes place through interaction with teachers, parents, and peers. Zone of proximal development, ZPD, is the gap between what a learner can do independently and what they can achieve with guidance. The third one is scaffolding. Teacher provide temporary support to help children complete tasks. And the last one, language as a learning tool that language play a central role in thinking and learning. The classroom application, for example, for cognitive theory, that subject science on primary school, the teacher divides students into group to investigate which object float or sinks. Students predict, observe, discuss result, and present their finding. The teacher guides student with question rather than providing direct answer. So the strength of this activity that encourage critical thinking and problem solving, but the limitation is requires more time and may be challenging for students with limit prior so knowledge. The second one is theory behaviorism. The behaviorist approach view learning as a change in observable behavior caused by stimulus, response, reinforcement, and repetition. There's three key principles that behaviorism theory. The first one is learning occurs through conditioning, that learner acquire new behavior by associating stimuli with response or through reinforcement and punishment. Second one is behavior is influenced by reward and consequences. Uh, by positive behavior are strengthened through reward, while inappropriate behavior reduced through consequences or punishment. The third one is practice strengthens learning, that repetition and regular practice help reinforce behavior, making them strong and more There's three permanent. Major theories behaviorists. The first one is Ivan Pavlov, that classical conditioning. Learning occurs through association between a stimulus and a response. For John B. Watson, that behavior is learned from the environment through conditioning and should be studied through observable action. And then the last one is B.F. Skinner, that operant conditioning behavior is shaped by its consequences such as reinforcement and punishment. So positive reinforcement increase desired behavior and negative consequences reduce unwanted behavior. This one is a classroom application for behaviorist theory, that for subject mathematics, teacher will give sticker or praise whenever student complete their exercise correctly, and student become more motivated to participate and complete their work. For strange, this activity can effective in managing classroom behavior, but the limitation is student may become dependent on reward rather than developing in intrinsic motivation. The last theory is humanistic theory. Humanistic theory is a learning theory that emphasizes the whole person development of learner. It focuses not only on intellectual growth but also on emotional, social, personal, and self-development. Humanistic theory believes that students learn best in a supportive, respectful, and learn-centered environment where their needs and potential value. There is four key principle for humanistic theory is student-centered learning, that learning focus on the student need, interest, and ability. Teacher act as a facilitator who guide and support student rather than simply delivering information. Respect for individual difference, that every student is unique and learn at their own pace. So a teacher should recognize and respect each learner's strength, ability, interest, and learning style. Learning should meet student emotional and psychological needs. Student learn best when they feel safe, value, respect, and emotionally support. Self-motivation encourage lifelong learning. Students are motivated by their own curiosity, interest, and personal goal, helping them become independent learner who continue learning through life. First one is Abraham Maslow. Theory Abraham is hierarchy of need, that student basic physical, emotional, and psychological needs must be met before they can achieve effective learning and reach their full potential. For For Carl Roger, that learning center education. So learn is more learn is most effective when it is student centered and teacher provide empathy, respect, and supportive environment that encourage self-direct learning. Teachers act as a facilitator that can make positive relationship, promote meaningful learning. So the humanistic theory emphasizes that learning is student-centered and focus on how development the whole person from emotionally, socially, intellectually, and personally. For classroom application, humanistic theory, uh, for example, subject English, that students choose their own presentation topic based on personal interest. The teacher provide guidance and constructive feedback while encouraging creativity and self-confidence. From this activity that can give strength for student build confidence, independence, and intrinsic motivation, but the limitation is difficult to implement in large classroom with limited time. Okay, now this one is comparison of learning approach for cognitive, behaviorist, humanistic. For cognitive is more focused on thinking, but behaviorist focus on behavior. Humanistic focus on personal growth. Then teachers guide for cognitive, teacher will guide learning. Behaviorist teacher control behavior, and then for humanistic teacher facilitate learning. Cognitive is more active learning, behaviorist repetition and reinforcement, and humanistic student-centered learning. In conclusion, learning theory provides different perspectives on how students acquire knowledge, develop skill, and change their behavior. Cognitive theory develops student thinking ability, understand and problem-solving skill through active learn and knowledge construction. Behaviorist theory improve observable behavior by using reinforcement, practice, and consequences to encourage effective learning habit. Humanistic theory promotes student personal growth, emotional development, self-confidence, and intrinsic motivation. Therefore, teachers should combine different learning approach based on student needs, ability, learning style, and educational objective to create effective and meaningful learning experience.